Yes.
All right.
That's exactly
What's up?
the story, Jesse.
All right. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us on the Highlands Gamescast is CC for the first time on episode 34. We have our co-hosts Kayla and Daniel, as always, and today we're going to be talking about 8 of the creepiest things in the Zelda world. This comes from a website called The Gamer, where they have a list of 20, but because that would take entirely way too long, we're just going to go through and do 2 each from this list. So
Now, you'll recognize we covered an article from The Gamer about.
oh, that's right, it was the,
So, yeah,
the
just
horrible
know
Zelda theories.
It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, you have to love those clickbait Zelda theories.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I guess I will start off with a
Oh,
random one.
Apparently the stream is really laggy, as Ilias pointed out, and when I go and actually check on it, she's right. She right.
Oh.
I'm sorry, guys.
Let me restart the stream. Stop streaming. Wait a few seconds for it to chill out.
Yeah, it was really laggy. Oh my
And then
goodness.
start streaming again.
The sun is starting to go down.
So it's getting real
Come
low.
out tomorrow. Bedroom.
Except for Jesse, it's probably already way down. We're all on or West Coast except Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Love you. Intermission
It looks
time,
better
guys.
now.
Yes. Woo!
You
Alright.
look better.
Oh, Tim Mullen says, Kayla, you're about to enter the Twilight Realm. Oh wait, no,
Tim
that's
Mullen?
thinking Twilight Zone. Sorry. The Twilight Realm. Sorry. Very different.
Game on.
Alright. So, just picking a random one here, I picked number 16, Near Death Experience, where it says, Link is the sworn protector of the land of Hyrule. He is a brave soul that works tirelessly to keep Princess Zelda safe from harm. Unfortunately, his overzealousness almost cost the poor princess her life. According to the Legend of Zelda lore, the author of Console Wars, Blake J. Harris, released some never-before-seen illustrations that came directly from Nintendo. These drawings had interesting story bits that spoke to some of the lore surrounding The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The one pertaining to Princess Zelda speaks of a time when Link almost committed one of the worst accidental atrocities in Hall of Hyrule. Apparently, the princess had been captured and was escaping on her own when Link burst into the room and almost cut her in two. The lighting was poor, and the Hylian hero noted a large spider that had sat down beside Zelda. Either that, or he was just tired of all the rescue quests and saw an accidental way out.
So here's my thought. That never happened.
Get cut in half? That sounds great.
That,
Yeah, there are plenty
that never
other
happened.
there are plenty other near-death experiences they could talk about that actually happened in the games, but like
Yeah.
using concept art that was just
I was gonna say, like,
Thrown
I
away.
scrolled past that and I was like, what?
yeah, because they have a picture of Twilight Princess Link
Yeah.
as the thing, and it's just like it is a weird, creepy smile
Yeah,
he's
why
doing.
did they put the picture of the concept art in the
I was
art?
gonna say, like, the theory that Link is dead.
Yeah, but they don't specify whether this was like which concept art the game came from,
Yeah.
or like where this story was from. They just have Twilight Princess, which I don't imagine.
Well, doesn't it say A Link to the Past? He's drawing
Is
some
it a
interesting story bits that spoke to some of the lore surrounding A Link to the Past.
Oh yeah, it does.
So
Then why Twilight Princess Link on the thumbnail?
yeah, I mean, like, because the part that picture is from, the part of the game, is referenced later, is one of the entries later in the article. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Gamer, they know better than us, though. 'Cause we're gamers, but they are the gamer.
Yeah.
So
It's just like I clicked on this and it's like, oh, there's 20 scary, creepy things or whatever, but it's like none of the stuff was really that creepy though. Was the weird thing.
Actually, the one that I liked was number 3.
All right, well,
then take us away, Kayla.
Yeah, we'll go to yours.
All right. So number 3 is the pain of transformation.
Ooh, yeah.
This is another double one though. So you have to include number 1 in it too because it's the same thing. They're referencing the same event.
I wanted to
Why?
say that one
What
too.
is wrong with this? As a gamer. Anyways, so. So those of you that played Majora's Mask, you remember like you braved the creepy adventure and you put on the horrible mask or the mask, and he had to experience the horrible mask cutscene. So each time Link placed the mask onto his face, he would let out an agonizing scream. This led to a lot of speculation that the transformation was actually quite painful. Thankfully, a Nintendo developer shed light on the mystery during a chat on the Miiverse. The truth isn't much better. According to, I don't know what this says because I think that's the Twitter account. Whoever dons the mask will immediately feel the boundless sorrow of the creature that it came from. The scream that Link expresses is due to the rush of emotions flooding over him. Imagine having to experience that each and every time.
No.
Yeah, you probably feel the immediate change of like your bones and skin and muscles.
Yeah, see, I thought that all the time when I was
Expanding
playing
everything.
Twilight Princess because he turns into a wolf and like, wouldn't that hurt?
Well, the first time it
it
Link
shows him
transforms,
screaming.
It shows him it's hurt, you know. But then I
Yeah.
guess he just puts up with it after that. He's just like, okay, here we go again. He was ready at least.
He's like, yeah, it hurts, makes you want to jump off a bridge, but it only hurts for like 2 seconds.
It's like Wolverine, you know.
Yeah.
She's like
Oh.
in the very first X-Men movie from like 2000.
Yep.
That hurt. He's like, every time. That was not a good Wolverine voice. That didn't.
Yeah, so this one makes more sense than the original, but it's like Majora's Mask altogether is kind of a dark game.
Yeah.
So,
So
what are you? Do you got one, Cece?
I do.
All right.
Take us away.
Alright. This one is totally like something that's been talked about a lot by Zelda theorists. You know, the whole what's it called, Shadow Temple and Underneath the Well.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite. So this goes for 7 and 6 since they're both kind of the same thing.
It is the same thing.
For those unfamiliar, the bottom of the well is located in the Kakariko village. At first glance, it seems like a unique cover for one of the more interesting mini dungeons in Ocarina of Time. A further look, however, suggests that Kakariko village may have been used as a secret torture location for enemies of the royal family. It's hard to classify this as a fact, since it's purely speculation, but a lot of players feel like something suspicious is happening below the seemingly innocent town. It's also important to note that this location is home to the graveyard, which houses the gravestones of the royal family. The area beneath the well is filled with re-deads, disturbing imagery, and what looks like torture devices. It's hard not to imagine that this location was used for some pretty horrible things. And
no mention of Dead Hand.
oh yeah, someone in my chat actually was like, I bet it's Dead Hands.
Yeah, I wish. Dead Hand is nightmare fuel. That would have.
Yeah. But like even like it said, the more subtle things, like, well, it's not very subtle actually.
Like
the torture devices,
Yeah.
like the thing that's shaped like an X with all the blood on the floor.
Yeah.
That makes me think of Game of Thrones, and that is definitely not rated E for everyone.
No.
So, you know, that was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, and there's like piles of bones everywhere. So with this, again, this is another thing that's actually more relevant to being creepy and stuff, aside like from the one that I picked. But like, if you look at Bongo Bongo, it looks like he was put in like a guillotine. because like his head's cut off. We don't see what his head looks like. It's just like a big hole in his neck, which is his weak point. And then his hands are cut off as if like his neck and hands were like propped through one of the stalks. What are they called? And then the guillotine came down, cut his head and his hands off. And it seems as if either beneath the well or the Shadow Temple is one of these places that they would actually do that, since there are these other torture devices and stuff. And then some of the rooms, like where you fight the dead hand beneath the well, looks like as if it could have just been a prison cell, because like there's the one door in, there's no way to get out or anything, which is kind of what a prison cell would look like. So it kind of,
there's like rooms that are like entirely made, like the walls and floor are entirely made of skulls.
Yeah,
that's scary.
The royal family's creepy past. It's like, how many people can we kill today?
Well,
See,
yeah, and then it also says like this is gathered here is Hyrule's bloody history. You know, like if that doesn't say something, hello, red flags, blood on the floor, read it.
Red flag.
Okay, no. So here's the thing that I want to mention. If you look at Skyward Sword and Minish Cap, which were like the two main games that happened before Ocarina of Time, the royal family seems really nice, peaceful, and everything, especially in Skyward Sword, where Zelda's literally like the girl next door. So, like, what happened to that family to where they're like, hey, let's build a huge dungeon prison underneath one of the only villages that we have?
See, my thought is that, you know, the royal family's graveyard was there, but Kakariko was also a Sheikah village, right? So my impression was always like the Sheikah were these ninjas that were kind of like the behind-the-scenes protectors for the royal family,
kidnapping everyone, and torturing them,
sketchy stuff, like so, behind the scenes, like for the greater good or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, they're, you know, someone's like out of line or whatever, and unbeknownst to the king, you know, the Sheikah is just kind of sweeping them out of the way, you know, killing them secretly, like taking them, like not, you know, out in the open so no one knows about it, but you just, you know, take them to this underground location and then killing them. Like, who knows?
That's
who
horrible.
knows? It's scary. It's
so horrible.
It is.
Daniel, what is yours?
Okay. Number 14. This one's kind of a bit of a laughable entry. Night of the Living Dead. So there are a lot of disturbing Legend of Zelda elements that seem harmless at first glance. How many times have you cleaved through a Stalfos without so much as a thought? Sure, from the outside they all look like any other cookie-cutter RPG skeleton knight, but have you ever stopped to think about where Stalfos came from? Their remains, skeletons, and bones didn't randomly appear out of thin air. Each time Link cracks a Stalfos skull or slices its spine in two, he's desecrating human remains. It's easy to forget that these enemies were once people. They could have been anyone happily roaming the field of Hyrule before succumbing to a terrible fate. Most of them were probably cut down during times of war. We know the souls of those people left their undead corpses long ago, but it still creeps us out to think we're hacking away at once proud Hylians. I feel like this is like 90% of games. So,
yeah,
it's like saying, like, you know, Left 4 Dead. Have you ever thought about where zombies come from?
Well, they're trying to apply logic to generic enemies.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah. Anyways, this is the phrasing is very melodramatic and.
It makes me wonder whose skeleton is, like, you know, like the really big ones in Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah, or the one the one that Skyward Sword has 4.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
Maybe he was like a regular dude, but he ripped someone else's arms off, and it was like, nice, I have 4 now.
So yeah, he's like the General Grievous of arms.
Yeah.
Like he had 4 arms too, but he's like, I keep an arm for every Hylian I slay.
Someone has a question. Do either of you know the answer?
What's the question?
I didn't really pick up much. Why did Mia, the cat from Skyward Sword, go evil at night? Did that ever get cleared up?
Oh, that was just I thought it was just their race. Like during like the sunlight changes them to something
like
cute and cuddly, and then at nighttime they just go evil. But
maybe she got kicked out of the house at night and she was cranky.
yeah. So my final.
Angry kitty.
Yeah, but you can pick it up and like throw it off of the ledge. Maybe that's why it turns evil, because so many people tried throwing it off.
Oh, maybe it flies back on.
Yeah,
but yeah, because we all did it.
There's
Don't
like
deny it.
There are other enemies at nighttime. Well, there are other enemies at night. So
that's true. Like the choo-choos come out.
Maybe
and
it's
stuff.
like trying to defend itself.
Yeah, maybe it just sees you as another enemy.
Lots of enemies.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, it's nighttime. I have to go full.
Cranky kitty.
Yeah. Alright, so my last one is number 12 from this article, titled Close Encounters of the Poe Kind. It says, here we go again with another entry outlining something downright messed up in the world of Majora's Mask. This time we find ourselves at Romani Ranch, which looks and feels a lot like Lon Lon Ranch. Looks nothing like Lon Lon Ranch. Feels nothing like Lon Lon Ranch.
The Kakariko Village sign, if that's what they meant. Yeah.
Like it looks and feels. That's like saying Clocktown feels like Hyrule Castletown. This is no surprise considering Majora's Mask reused a lot of the Ocarina of Time elements, both for time saving and creepy alternative universe purposes. Nope, all for
100% for time saving.
Yeah, yeah. The creepiness was just later. Anyways, here we meet Malon, Romani. They have Malon crossed out. A young girl with an overactive imagination. At least we wish it was overactive. Without much warning, you'll find yourself sniping Poe-like aliens from abducting the ranch's cows. What makes this so creepy is that the otherworldly beings will actually kidnap Romani if you fail. Even more unsettling is that she'll show up later on, but something will seem rather off about her. So, the thing about this, I had no idea that she was kidnapped and showed back up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, so if you do fail,
Yeah.
abduct her with the cows, and then if you go back the next morning, she'll be there, but she's like kind of out of it.
She's
you know?
like,
oh,
just,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
okay. I
and
remember
she doesn't
this
remember
now.
you, and
Yeah.
it's like, that's some X-Files business there.
It's,
Like,
it's weird.
So, the aliens come, you can see the red star in the sky on like the first day, and then as the days get closer, I think it gets bigger. A lot of people tried finding like red stars and stuff in later games like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and others to like, do they only exist in Majora's Mask or are aliens real? Apparently they're real because Breath of the Wild had aliens, or concept supposed to have aliens. Yeah, that's it. Which is really cool. Just like, oh yeah, we beat Ganon, what do we do now? And it's like, let's restore Hyrule, but then aliens just come and decimate everything with like...
Aliens are out there, guys.
Yeah, they had like bombs and
the
rockets
truth
and
is
everything.
out there. I
And that
want to
little
believe.
scene. Yeah. Anyways, this is interesting for me. It was always one of my most curious parts of Majora's Mask. Like, why did they abduct the cows? Now we know, because the milk gives you unlimited energy.
Yeah, that's some hella milk.
Like, maybe they were trying to use it for like spaceship fuel.
Maybe they're stuck on orbit. It's the only way to get home. And, you know, they were just going to borrow the cows, you know, for... No. Actually, no, but then Romani says that they come every year.
Oh.
So, it definitely was a one-time thing. What's weird to me is that the article lists them as... It says Close Encounters of the Poe kind, and, like, refers to them as Poe-like. I guess, in appearance, kinda. But, like, Poes are ghosts. These are...
Yeah, and there are actual ghosts
Mhm.
in Majora's Mask.
Yeah, there are Poes, so...
Like, almost every NPC you come across is kind of a ghost. Or at least all of the important
true
ones.
Too.
Yeah. So, yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on this one? Starting with you, Kayla.
Thoughts on what?
On the aliens!
The alien.
Aliens? Well, aliens are out there, but now I'm trying to think of, like, why would they be coming back once every year? Why?
For milk.
Maybe the milk lasts a year.
Like,
We
is
just
the
don't
milk
see it.
that good?
Yeah, it's that
I guess in
good.
space, we don't know what happens to milk.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to find out.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe
I
they
think
don't
it's
have
science.
cows. You know.
All right. And what about you, Daniel? What do you think these aliens are doing with all this milk?
You know, drinking it.
Milk
Probably.
stuff.
Or maybe, you know, like my thought was like they're just like coming to like study.
No, I have another answer.
Originally. But
So-
I want to say they're drinking it.
You
What's your answer?
You can't get into the milk bar unless you meet the requirements. Maybe the
Having
aliens.
The mask.
Yeah, or like, isn't it just the last day that you can go in?
Maybe.
Yeah, or you can go in during the daytime
Mhm.
as well.
Okay, so, maybe the aliens aren't allowed to go in the bar, so they can't purchase the milk. So instead, they just take the milk before it gets to the bar.
Wait, what?
I'm confused, Jesse.
What? Did I cut out?
Did you? I don't know, but I'm just lost in general.
All right,
Same.
Cece, what's your next one? What's your final?
Oh, I didn't have a
Thing.
final one.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're just
alright.
talking about the final.
Oh.
Just choose
I
one.
forgot that Jesse was number 3.
Oh, wait.
No, I went first.
Oh,
We're
you
all
did-
doing 2.
Oh, are we doing 2?
Yeah.
I don't even know if
So-
there's a second one to pick.
Let's quickly get through the other 3, because you mentioned that you had to go, Kayla.
Yeah, I have to go to bed. I have to be up soon.
Yeah. We'll all likely just do like one question each, possibly. I don't know.
Oh, he's only a freak in the USA. Tingle is like a walking fever dream. Everything about
That's
him seems
true.
a little bit off. His eccentric demeanor, tight-fitting clothes, and made-up language are enough to unsettle any passerby. Tingle seems like the kind of person you would see on an episode of Catch a Predator. Perhaps
That's a
that's
little
why. I know.
But he did go to jail, so maybe.
And he is like a old man dressed as a fairy, approaching Link as a little boy. A little predatorious. Perhaps that's why we're so creeped out that he sells maps. Hopefully these hand-drawn guides don't secretly lead to his house. Oh my god. Although these are some although there are some out there that would welcome a visit from the rosy cartographer, some countries think it's hilarious, often poking fun at his eccentric nature and wacky style. Japan, for example, shares a special adoration for the frog-like man. Here in the United States, is a creepy affair. Germany can lust over Hasselhoff. Why can't Japan get tingly? Oh god. Who wrote
All right. So
Say it.
about this, I want to say we are all.
Tingle is my spirit animal.
No. Okay, for real. Tingle is
Okay.
all of us.
Yeah.
Like, if you have ever cosplayed as Link, I use the joke, you're not cosplaying as Link, you are literally becoming Tingle.
Tingle.
Because who is Tingle?
Cool.
Tingle is a fan. Tingle is someone who is such a fan of Link that he dresses up like Link, which is something every single person who has ever cosplayed has done. They like something or someone so much that they dress up as that character. It's the same thing everyone has done on Halloween. It's just Tingle does it on most days. Just as cosplayers dress up even when it's not Halloween. So Tingle is just cosplaying as Link. The same as everyone else in the real world who cosplays as Link. So when you cosplay as Link, you're not cosplaying as Link. You are becoming Tingle. So for someone to say, oh, he's an adult dressing like the fairy boy. He's weird, he's creepy. That's the same thing like thousands of other people do every single time there's a convention.
I think one of the creepy things about Tingle Waker, how his brothers are like scared shitless. Sorry, language. But brothers are like scared and they tell you things, don't they? They're like that he kind of implications about him.
Yeah, he's like same with in Minish Cap too, is when you talk to them, they're almost like abused into, you know, working for Tingle.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at them like spending hours day in and day out on that thing, and he's just standing there like.
And it's weird they mention everyone in America thinks he's a creep. The thing was, I think the hate for him came because for the Wind Waker, people didn't like the art style, which is the first time he was brought back. And then in Majora's Mask, like, I think people just viewed him, like, they viewed it as annoying that you had to get the map from this single character as opposed to just getting the map once you reach that area.
Well, to be honest, his design in Majora's Mask is kind of really creepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the map thing's not that big a deal.
Like, in Wind Waker, he's cute as frick. In Majora's Mask, I'm like, I don't know about all that, ma.
Yeah, it's like in Hyrule Warriors, I don't know, I would have rather they chose the Wind Waker look for Tingle rather than the Majora's.
He's like creepy.
I feel uncomfortable around him.
He's cringy.
Fedora at us.
Yeah, just, you know, my lady.
Alright,
Sorry to anyone that is watching, and
so
I'm not sorry.
Daniel, let's go to yours, Daniel. What is your last?
Okay. Mine is number 18. The first is the worst. And this is not them saying that the first Zelda game is the worst. Door. Speaking of horrible timelines where everyone dies, not literally, we just wanted to add tension. This is journalism, folks. This is journalism. Did you know that the original Legend of Zelda is set during one of the worst events in Hyrule's history? The game that started it all takes place during the Fallen Hero timeline. An alternate time arc in which Link fell to Ganondorf during battle. I don't know why alternate was in quotes. It is an alternate one, but this allowed the Dark Lord to secure the remaining Triforce pieces. Have you ever noticed that Hyrule, or that all of the Legend of Zelda games have towns except for the original? That's because the Hyrule you explore is a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The only survivors are creepy old men living in caves, weirdos sealed behind solid walls. If you want further proof of the land's demise, look at the first dungeon. Perhaps this old decrepit log is the remains of the mighty Deku tree. So the problem with this is that Zelda 2 has the most towns of any Zelda game, and it takes place directly after the
Zelda 1 doesn't have towns or dungeons because Nintendo was so busy just making the dungeons and everything themselves. So the towns would have been an afterthought. They're like, hey, let's make good dungeons. Let's make great combat. Let's make great bosses. Let's make this huge overworld.
But not a map.
Let's create one of the first games to ever let you save on the cartridge. So, like, towns were probably in there, but it was like an afterthought. Like, there is a graveyard. Which implies there was some kind of civil town to create that graveyard. There were people that built these dungeons. So, like, the people are there. They're just, like, even the bad guys. Like, they don't have their own places either. Like, there's no Gerudo Fortress or whatever for, like, Ganon's people. There's no really anything. So it's like... yeah, it's just like it was the first game, so they didn't do it. And then Zelda 2, that, like you said, which follows it, there are people there. So it's like, no, there's towns. It's just they didn't put them in the game. Like maybe if they remade it or something, who knows?
Yeah, it just seems like a weird thing to like. The timeline placement's true, although I don't know what's with the quotation marks in the article.
Yeah, I also want to say thank you to the 40 people who have like watched throughout the entire stream.
Mm-hmm. It is appreciate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So finish what you were saying, Daniel. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's just that, you know, the timeline placement is correct. I mean, technically, yes, the first Zelda game does take place in the Downfall timeline, but that's the no town part of it. It just doesn't really make sense, and there's no real evidence that that's the Deku Tree, because there is a Lost Woods area in the game, which this is nowhere near, and it's just a hollow tree. I never personally thought it was the Deku Tree's remains.
Yeah, it's like if you go to
tree with a...
Kokiri Forest, every tree is hollowed out.
That's true. Yeah, so I don't know. It's it just seems like more of a technical thing, like the no legs, than the old no legs fisherman.
Was that fixed in the 3DS version?
I don't know. I want to say probably not. But also, can we just keep, like, can we coin the term no legs fisherman? Like, just
No.
we gotta hold on to that one.
Does he have legs in Termina? Because he owns the store in Termina.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I never.
He does, because he's in the curiosity shop, right? And if you go in like Cafe's hideout, you can peek into the curiosity shop, and you see behind the counter, so you see his legs.
What about at the end of Ocarina of Time, when everyone's partying at Lon Lon Ranch?
The only time I think you see him is like a camera does a pan by, and you see him from the waist up.
Nice.
That I can think of. So.
All right, Kayla, you're the only one that hasn't gone twice, correct?
Yes.
All right. Have you found your last thing before
Did
you
you
leave?
do the can't spare a square?
No.
That's the one that I'm gonna.
That sounds very something.
Also, to answer your questions, I answered everyone in the YouTube chat, but I moved because it's very cold outside. You can hear me sniffling. It is cold.
I am gonna go use the restroom quick. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Not allowed.
Okay.
I've been holding it forever.
You can't. Don't go.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, so can't spare a square. So this is the part that they're talking about in Majora's Mask, where you go into the bathroom and there's a hand sticking out of the toilet, and he wants a piece of toilet paper or something, right? Oh yeah, so it's a toilet monster named Question Mark.
Who returns in Skyward Sword?
So that's 3 question marks.
3 question marks. You can't actually pronounce it, but you can try. So
yeah, you can pronounce it. It's like this. That was perfect.
Yeah, so I met this guy named.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Anyways, we aren't even sure if it's human. All you can see is a bony hand sticking out of the dark bowl of an outhouse. The hand asks for paper and will reward Link with a piece of heart if he spares some. An interview with Miyamoto revealed that Question Mark was modeled after a rather horrifying toilet ghost urban legend found in Japanese culture. Oh. They don't tell you the details in this, but if you're feeling brave, you can check out the tale of Hanako-san.
Why mention if they don't give you like a brief? They could give like a brief 3-sentence rundown.
Yeah, like there was a ghost and I was stuck in the toilet.
Yeah, that's like saying, hey, you know, the Triforce is based off of something really cool.
Oh,
next topic.
Hanako-san is like Bloody Mary. She appears in the bathroom when you say her name.
Who?
Bloody Mary.
Oh,
who?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Canada thing. It's Bloody Mary, you know?
He's saying who because he wants us to say it 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesse. You had me thinking I had a Canada thing, and I didn't.
No. Oh, there's a ghost in Cece's door. It's her! Oh my god. No, she was like standing beside the door so you could just like barely see her.
It's a ghost. Yeah, but I mean, they kind of revisit that concept in Skyward Sword, only it's actually a ghost. Yeah. I don't think in Majora's Mask, I don't think it is, and It's a guy
And
that
doesn't-
uses the same voice clip as Mikau.
He haunts. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Colin? Yeah, Goose's friendo.
My folks are raiding my amiibos. It's just, I don't know, Venezuela in the background.
Nice. All right. I guess that brings us to the very end. Yeah. So, Kayla, before you leave, go ahead and let us know, and then we can all do the mailbag without you. We'll have a short one. We'll each
What
pick
am I
like
letting you know?
one answer. You're like, who are you?
Let
Why?
us know.
Oh.
Who are
Don't-
you?
you know,
Why?
not a bad-
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
I'm Chublima.
Who are you?
I don't know who I am. I am. I am a co-host to. Sorry, Jesse or Daniel had someone raiding his amiibos. Anyways.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Oh wait, she's back.
Podcast, the Hylian Gamecast, and you can find me on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram, and I post things about life and stuff. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Okay, but who are you?
Why?
We need
Why
to
are you
know.
here? Why should people love you?
I've never met you.
Why should people? Because I'm cool. I'm a cool person, and I like Nintendo. I'm also a Nintendo brand ambassador.
Look at
Yeah.
you bragging. Getting paid
I work
to show
for
off
and
Donkey
paid by
Kong.
Nintendo. I get to play Donkey Kong all day.
What a life!
Oh,
I imagine. I
spend-
imagine 50% of the time is just her standing next to like wherever the Switch is. Be like, hey, do you want to try out Donkey Kong? No, you're gonna get Call of Duty. Okay.
Oh, it's awkward because like I have my own Nintendo Switch with me that Nintendo provided, so I go up to people and I'm like, "Hey, do you want to play Tropical Freeze?" And they're like, "No." So I turn around and I continue on to the level that I was playing.
What
Oh,
level are you playing?
I don't know. I haven't demoed in a while.
Kayla.
Let you
Nice.
guys get to your mailbag.
All right. Bye, Kayla.
Thank
Cece,
for
are you?
having me.
Yes. Everyone, go
Am I-
follow her at Chiblima. Are you staying for the mailbag? We're all gonna do at least one question.
I think
sure.
So-
I haven't answered a.
What was
I
that,
haven't
Kayla?
answered a Zelda question in a while.
I think that
Woo.
the mailbag will be fun because you can interact with people.
I know, yeah, there were some games in there that you guys were talking about. I had no.
All right,
Oops.
guys.
Bye, Kayla.
Bye.
Now that she's
Oh,
gone,
look,
we can say whatever we
it's
want about her.
Three of us. Party time, party time.
Okay.
Woo.
We're on. Ilya said she was going to join for the mailbag.
Oh, Ilya.
So
I actually don't know if I'm gonna.
no.
No. Stay. Peer
I
pressure.
need comida. Oh,
Oh.
hello, friend.
Sorry,
Yeah.
nothing's edited, so hold on.
That's
Wait,
okay.
is it
She just
using
popped
everything
in.
correctly?
Do we have matching glasses? I'm not wearing mine, but.
You put them on. I'll get
So
mine too.
I was gonna say
I don't
no.
have any,
Yours are
actually.
invisible, CC. They can't be
Here we
matching.
go.
Hers
They
are
have to be
visibles.
matching.
Yours aren't.
I want to see
Gibbs.
them-
Gibbs.
That's
There's
pretty
like 10 things going at
matching.
once. Oh my
Jesse,
God.
where's ours?
Where's your what?
We need to have matching.
we have
glasses,
John.
too.
We have John Cena glasses.
Oh my gosh, we do have matching glasses. Sorry, I had my YouTube stream going at the same time, and I was like, why do I hear myself talk? I'm so confused.
Surprise.
Yeah. Sorry, my room is a mess. I saw Jesse's message, and I was like,
okay.
yes.
Sorry, my life is a mess.
Oh, you actually
Joining.
wanted to be on?
No.
What? Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Well, I was confused. Because I think I messaged this earlier. You were like, sorry if I freaked you out. Like, when I saw the call, I was like, crap, hold on, my hair, my makeup, oh my god. And then, like, I started, like, dashing to clean my room, and I was like, where's my microphone? And I was like,
See,
oh,
this
he doesn't
is
need me, okay?
this is exactly what I
where?
told Daniel. To where I was like, I feel bad because they probably rushed to like freaked out to get ready or something.
Well, my cat was in the room and she was just like, what
No,
is my owner doing?
Where's your cat? Bring the
Out there.
cat.
She
No,
started.
it's
she
it's
started
spread
pulling
out
at
on
my
the bed.
comforter.
You don't
It's
see
out.
the yellow cat?
Oh, there
That
it
is
is.
a Pikachu.
Oh,
That's a
Pikachu.
yellow mouse.
What are those?
I have a lot of animals spread across. Most of them Pokemon, a Kirby, a Pygmy from Harry Potter.
But do you have Detective Pikachu?
No, I don't understand
checked
what
the
that
comic.
is,
I've
and I don't
Detective
want to
Pikachu,
understand.
Right there.
Someone from my chat says they've seen you before, by the way.
What?
I was
where,
actually on the last
outside, or-
two.
Yeah. Ilya's been on the last 2 podcasts. This is her 3rd in a row, and
I
she
don't know if
does.
Watched you though. I don't know where they saw her.
Where did they see her?
I don't know. That's what I asked.
Was it?
Batcave,
I
where have you
assume it was
seen her
here. It's the only
before?
thing I've done.
Was it at the Olive
Yeah,
Garden?
no, at the
Where was it? Tell us where.
I love Olive Garden.
Riding the bus, or
Thank you for the biddies.
Olive Garden. Wait,
The
you got
realest nerd of Rome.
Cece got tipped for being on our podcast. It's supposed to be the other way.
Wait. He had a question though, and I'm wondering if you guys know.
Oh, I should
Okay.
pull that thing up.
It was.
Wait,
Do you
I asked
remember
the
in
question.
Whoa.
Oh, we can answer your question too, Ilya.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Getting hostile in here.
All right.
I don't know about this.
Let's
Okay, wait, real
I
quick.
was just confused.
So, in Hyrule Historia, you guys remember that little comic at the end? Where it's supposed to be prior to Skyward Sword? So he's asking a
dark.
question
It's not
about...
canon.
He
If
says
that's
he
the
just looked it
question.
up that says it's canon now.
It's canon now?
Well, I don't know. I added the now part, sorry. He said it's canon.
Okay.
He said
I was
he looked
gonna.
it up.
The Nintendo, when they released Hyrule Historia, they stated that the comic, just like all of the other manga, was not canon. It was every Nintendo game or every Zelda game has had its own manga, but some of them have had multiple mangas. Like A Link to the Past had a comic in the Nintendo Power thing. It had
Yeah,
its
and then-
own. It had its own manga, and then it had a second comic. So it had 2 official comics in America, and 1 manga that was originally Japanese, and all 3 of them had conflicting stories with each other, and all 3 of
That's what I
them
was
had
about to say.
conflicting stories with the game itself.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
in-
gonna say. I was like, there's a lot of things in the comic that don't
Yeah.
add up
Yeah.
And
with the game.
so in the game, you roll into the bookshelf to get the Book of Medora. In one of the comics, the library burns down. And then they find the book as like the only thing that didn't burn, which is completely different from what happens in the game.
And impeccable luck.
Just like in Ocarina of Time. So in Ocarina of Time, Link adopts a baby Volvagaya as soon as he gets into Hyrule Town. Like as soon as he gets there, he buys a baby Volvagia. And then it turns evil when he turns into an adult. He cuts its head off. And then later on in the game, when he's walking through the desert, he sees the ghost of his Volvagia that makes him cry. Now, where did that happen in the game? Any of
Jesse,
that?
there's a secret side quest where what I have to do to activate it.
No. And another thing
Shadow
is,
Temple.
so there's only like 4 or 5 dungeons. I think there's 5 dungeons in the manga. Great face, CC. So, like, there's only 5 dungeons in the manga, and then the first dungeon, the Deku Tree, he fights Queen Goma outside of the tree in the manga, and they have like a full conversation, like they talk to each other. There's a lot of dialogue going back and forth. So it's like, for the people that believe the mangas are canon, please don't.
Please don't. They're not canon.
Like,
Okay,
No.
okay,
they
so
are
canon
fun to
aside-
read.
Canon aside, entertainment purpose only, to humor him, he's asking about Link and says he's a prisoner for something. If there's a and then he says, Do we have anything on a King Dagiani? I don't know how to Dagiani. Dagiani. Dagianis. It says he framed Link. Do you guys know anything of that?
I haven't read this.
It's been like 4 years since I've read it, but we're going to go ahead and start the official